Hello, Cancer, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a reading for mid-January 2023, looking at your recent past, your current energy, and your immediate future. As you can see, I've already gone ahead and pulled the oracle cards and clarified those as well. I have the overall energy for the reading, and we'll jump into tarot, and then I have my decks over here that I'll be using for the extended reading. Any information on the extended reading or on a personal reading is in the description box below. All right. In your recent past, you have released your blocks with the Three of Swords. I can already tell right now that this is like a blessing in disguise kind of reading, because what I'm seeing is it's like, I mean, you've obviously been through a heartbreak, and it's obviously affected you in a pretty intense way. But the overall energy for the reading is trust. You have nature spirits too. We'll get to that in a second, but you have trust in nature spirits. So I just feel like this is about trusting the universe, even though you don't feel like there's any reason to at this moment. In your current energy, you have honor your feelings with the Four of Wands in reverse. Right now, things you're feeling not great. I mean, mentally and emotionally, I feel like you're a little bit all over the place. I feel like you're feeling a little buried under some pain here, but I ultimately feel like this is leading you. So this heartbreak that you've been through, because it has released your blocks with that, is helping you release your fear about something turning out the way that you ultimately want. That's why you have trust here. Because in your immediate future, you have let your fears dissolve with the Ten of Wands in reverse. So it's like your fears have been this burden, and it's almost like your fear has kept you from being able to see like the situation with clarity, because I feel like you kind of are so stuck in that pain. This nature spirits card, to me, it feels like this is more of like, it's just this advice of spending, because when I pulled these cards, trust came out first, and I wanted to pull another, so I pulled nature spirits, and then on the bottom of that deck was meditate. So I feel like this is saying right now you're kind of needing to get away from, get out of your head almost, and get out of this Four of Wands in reverse energy that you're currently in, so that you can find a little bit more clarity, feel a little bit more like free almost. But uh, we'll dive in. We'll dive in and just see what everything's saying. All right. Recent past for Cancer. Clarifying, release your blocks with the Three of Swords. Recent past for Cancer, clarifying, release your blocks with the Three of Swords. Page of Pentacles, Three of Wands, Eight of Pentacles. You have been investing in your path. You have the Three of Wands, the Page of Pentacles, and the Eight of Pentacles. You've been investing in an opportunity that I feel like was pretty outside of your comfort zone. But it's interesting because now I feel like you're in the energy, and obviously we haven't pulled cards for it yet, but it's like maybe you took a step out of your comfort zone, or you were pushed outside of your comfort zone from like by the universe, and now you're kind of dealing with the feelings associated with that. But I do see that this is a lot about like the work you've been putting in. So if you've been putting in a lot of work on your healing, on your growth journey, on your spiritual journey, then I am seeing that it's like you're doing the right things. I feel like that's the biggest thing that's coming through about your recent past is I feel like there's some self-doubt here about whether or not you're doing the right things. But you're doing the right things here, because there's the Ace of Pentacles. So yeah, this is some sort of opportunity. Be it love or career, I'm not sure. This is general, but recent past here for Cancer. The Hermit with the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. So things in your recent past kind of came to a pause. Oh, interesting. Okay, so I pulled that over, and then the Fool is underneath that. And it came to a pause to push you inward. There's something that needs to be, like a light that needs to be, something needs to come to light here. And I feel like it was your fear. It's almost like the universe pushed you out of your comfort zone to pull your fears to the surface, because, 95% of our movements, choices, and decisions are subconscious. And so most of our fear lies within us. And even though we can consciously be saying, I'm going to be okay, internally, we might feel a different way because of our past experiences. And so what I'm seeing is this is almost like your fear needed to come to the surface. And it did that through this heartbreak. And to you, it just feels sucky. I feel like it just feels sucky. But it's all to push you toward this new beginning. I feel like, I see a full in a lot of readings, and I see a lot of these tarot readings on YouTube, and I see a lot of these like new beginnings. Um, this is a process. Stepping into it to a new beginning is a process, and life is about endings and new beginnings. It's a cycle of life. And so I feel like this is about like letting something like one door close so that you can open another. But in between those doors being closed and open, you've got to deal with the fear of maybe, losing the door that closed or never getting to have the door that's opening. Reset past for Cancer. Reset past for Cancer. Okay, I lied. I said that I didn't know what this was about. This is about something that you're pursuing. Something that you were actively pursuing in your recent past. Because you have the Five of Pentacles, the Page of Cups in reverse, and the King of Wands. There was a loss here. Could be material with the Pentacles. But this loss is where this Three of Swords is coming from. But what is happening here with the Page of Cups in reverse is, because you have trust, remember that, it's almost like you're not listening to your intuition about what's to come, because you are, and it's not that it's an active choice that you're making to not listen to your intuition. It's that your fear about what's to come is overriding the truth about what's to come. Because yeah, you kind of were stuck in this loss, and that loss sucked. I mean, it's sucky. Like, it's just like, it sucked. Like, I don't know how else to say it. It just kind of is like, dang, yeah, that sucked. But it was all to push you inward, because again, it was almost like your fears needed to come to the surface, so that you're not pursuing whatever you're pursuing from a place of fear, but you're pursuing it from a place of faith, and from, with an open heart, because that's the only way to pursue things that are on our path, are from a place of faith. And the universe won't give us what aligns with our path if we're still stuck in fear, because the universe doesn't want us to sabotage it. All right, current energy here for Cancer. Okay, cool. I don't know why those cards are acting so weird. Current energy for Cancer. There we go. More current energy for Cancer. Interesting. Okay. Honor your feelings with the Four of Wands in reverse. This is a time to kind of just let the wave of emotion wash over you. Yep, you have the Six of Cups with the High Priestess in reverse and the Two of Swords. Right now, you are in a period of being reminded of your past. Your past, in your fears, typically, like I kind of said in the beginning, your fears live in your past experiences. That's where we develop fear, right? And I feel like it's really hard for you to see past your past, and really listen to your intuition. Because again, this is the High Priestess in reverse, which to me is very similar to that Page of Cups in reverse energy. High Priestess, more higher self, kind of just like, which is your intuition. I don't know exactly how to put it into words at this moment, but it's almost like you've got to kind of feel whatever you're feeling right now so that you can release it. And I feel like that's why you have this Nature Spirits card, is it's like you can't fix your feelings, you can't make them go away. You can, however, feel them to release them. And it's really important that when we're going through that period of feeling our emotions and letting that wave of emotion wash over us, that we don't let it consume us and then start to believe that whatever emotion that we're feeling is telling us the truth. So, for instance, if you feel this wave of fear or this wave of anxiety about your circumstances, not letting it dictate your next move, but allowing yourself to say, okay, I'm obviously very afraid of what's coming next because of where I'm currently at right now, but that doesn't mean I have anything to be afraid about. It means I'm being triggered because in my past I've experienced failure, I've experienced loss, or whatever the case is, and I'm trying to protect myself from going back there. So I just feel like this is this level of like trying as hard as you can in your current energy to see past your past experiences. Like if you are in a situation that feels familiar to your past, don't let yourself think that that means the past is repeating itself. Try to just realize that it's a trigger and it's bringing up fears from your past, and you've got to feel those fears in order to release them, but you don't have to believe them. Okay. Current energy for Cancer. This I talked about how the energy felt. I didn't talk about that in this. No, I did. It was in the pre-shuffle. I didn't say it out loud, but I said to myself, the energy in this reading feels very all over the place and very just like chaotic in a way, and I feel like that's kind of how you're feeling. um and that's It makes total sense with what you're dealing with right now. But you have the Six of Wands in reverse with the King of Cups in reverse. Right now is a need to tap into that hopelessness that's buried inside of you and try to reframe it, because you are not feeling very hopeful about your future, and about what's coming next or about whatever you want here. And I know that it's not because you don't want to feel hopeful about it, it's that you really do feel like your past is repeating itself. And maybe you feel that way because it's almost like this is a chance for you to break a past cycle. So my advice is just try to, do a lot of reflecting. That's the biggest thing right now, is making sure you're reflecting. With the King of Cups in reverse, don't don't allow your emotions to get the better of you right now. If there's one thing I learned on this journey, it's that I'm a very emotional person. I've been that way since I was a kid. I've always been very emotional. Like I've been known for that in past friend groups and with my family, and it's always been very frustrating for me. And on my spiritual journey, when you hear like, let your emotions move through you, or allow yourself to feel your emotions, or sit with your uncomfortable feelings, and it was always very frustrating because I was like, I'm always sitting with my uncomfortable feelings because I always feel everything all the time. But what I didn't realize was that I would over intellectualize my emotions. So instead of allowing myself to feel what I needed to feel, I would try to understand it so that I could potentially fix it. But there is no fixing your emotions, because your emotions aren't telling you a truth. They're giving you insight to your past, but they're not telling you a truth about your future. And so when you feel lonely, when you feel sad, when you feel anxious, those are literally just feelings. They're not saying, hey, you have a reason to feel lonely. You're always going to be alone forever. It's not saying you have a reason to be sad. You're going to be sad forever. It's not saying you have a reason to be fearful. You're going to be fearful forever. It's saying you feel this way because you've been here before, and there's a part of you that's coming in and trying to protect you from what could potentially come next. But the thing is, you don't know what's going to happen next because the next is uncertain. But you can be very certain within yourself, and whatever you have within is going to manifest externally. Stick with me, because this is kind of a little bit more of a complicated concept than getting into, where it's that manifestation concept, the law of attraction, right? We attract what we feel within. If we feel uncertainty, we attract uncertainty. If we feel fear, we attract more fear. But it's we have to also feel what we're going through in order to release it. So if we don't feel our feelings, if we shove them down, then they're going to come up in subconscious ways, because 95% of our movements, choices, decisions are subconscious. So only 5% of our conscious mind is in control of our life. That's why healing is so important, because it's so important to rewire your brain, to rewire your subconscious to align with where you're trying to go, not with where you've been. And so right now, you're very aligned with where you've been. You're aligned with your past. You're aligned with the fear and the insecurities and the uncertainty that has happened to you. And now there's a need to tap into what is possible for you moving forward. Not saying my past is going to repeat itself, but saying, what good can come for me next. I feel like that message got a little lost in translation, but I hope some of you that resonated with someone. Okay, current energy here for Cancer. Because that honor your feelings is so important. You've got to first recognize that they're there. The Devil in reverse with the High Priestess in reverse. You are currently in an energy of releasing this attachment. It could be an attachment to your past. It could be an attachment to your future. It could be attachment to something that currently exists within your life. You're in an energy right now of releasing that attachment. Attachment always stems from fear. So that's a good thing. It might not feel like anything's happening for you right now, because I feel like you just feel sucky, like I was saying. But you feel that way because you're releasing these emotions that have been buried in you for a while. And so allow yourself to sit with those emotions. Go on a nature walk, even if it's just being outside for, 5 to 10 minutes and sitting in the sun. I know here where I live, it's pretty cold right now. So bundling up and just going outside and letting yourself, feel the sun for a little bit, or just be in the light, I think is so important right now. I just feel like there's this need to get a little bit more clarity on the bigger picture, because what you're going through right now, the way that you feel right now, has no bearing on what's to come for you. Because this, in your immediate future, you have let your fears dissolve with the 10 of Wands in reverse, and you have trust. So the universe is asking you to trust in you and trust in the universe right now, trust in the divine, because you're having a really hard time with your High Priestess. It's been really hard for you to tap into your intuition right now, because of the way that you feel. And so you can, you can expect this to end, this storm to pass. I feel like that's what, I remember, like, what just popped into my mind was not last week, or the week before, my reading for Cancer, the title of it was "The Storm is Almost Over." And I feel like, the closer you get to the end of a cycle, the more intense that it gets. And I feel like that's what's happening to you right now. You're in this last cycle of a certain fear-based mentality that you've had. And so it's getting a little bit more intense right now. You're feeling a little bit more than you have, but that's okay, because it's coming to the end of this specific cycle. All right, immediate future for Cancer. Let your fears dissolve. This is good. Okay. We have that 3 of Swords right here. You have it in reverse in the immediate future. So that's healing, guys. You have this Ace of Wands in reverse with the Knight of Wands. It's almost like to you, trusting in the universe is a big risk, because I feel like you've been in survival mode for a really long time in your life, not necessarily because you wanted to be, but because you had to be. And whatever happened in your past to put you in that survival mode, you're currently kind of facing, even if you don't really realize that you are. Like, you're facing the emotions of it through your current circumstances. And so that's why things feel so intense right now, is because you're actually dealing with, like, stuff from way back when. And so that's why in your immediate future you have let your fears dissolve, is because it's almost like you get to put down this burden of your past that you've been carrying for so long. But it comes down to, it feels like a risk for you to have faith in this process, because I feel like you've been burned before, maybe by the universe, maybe by someone else, and you don't want to be burned again. And I feel like that is this whole trust thing. It's almost like not just learning to have trust in the universe, but us being in the universe in motion. It's learning to have trust in yourself, because you deserve to trust yourself and you deserve to trust your path. And you are on the right path. You are doing what you're supposed to do if this reading is for you. And even though it doesn't feel like it, you are making the right moves. I've learned that there's not really any such thing as doing the right thing. There's such thing as aligned intentions, though, because if your intentions are aligned, the actions will follow. The immediate future for Cancer. Two of Wands in reverse with the Six of Pentacles. This is kind of a funny message. When good things happen to you, you have a tendency to overthink it. Like, you have a tendency to be like, oh, this is too good to be true, or how this is going to end, or what's the catch? And your immediate future is a little bit more of that. It's almost like you start to receive, because with the Six of Pentacles here, it's like you start to receive, but you doubt. It's like you don't believe it. Like, you're like, wait, okay, hang on. Things are happening for me. And you're like, but what's the catch? Like, what's the catch of this? What's the catch of something good happen to me? Because at the end of the day, with the Magician in reverse, you doubt your manifestations. So I feel like in your future, they start coming true, like, little by little. And you're like, I don't know. Like, is this going to go away? Is this a joke? Like, am I being punked, or whatever the case is? I just feel like it's interesting, though, because every good thing that starts to happen for you releases a little bit more of your fear, because you start to realize that good things are in store for you and that they're going to happen. And that's why right now, because they're not happening yet, is why you're really needing to trust. Like, big time needing to trust. Okay, immediate future for Cancer. You gotta trust in this. It's so funny. You have the Judgment in reverse with the Nine of Pentacles. And then there's that King of Cups in reverse on the bottom. Your immediate future is a lot of good things happening for you and you not believing. Like, it's like you're not, like, able to, like, because there's that King of Cups, and we had that King of Cups, and I talked about your emotions getting the better of you. It's like you're so used to disappointment that when things happen that aren't disappointing, you, like, don't know how to handle it, because you've gotten so used to being disappointed. And that's why I think your immediate future is a lot of learning that you don't have to always expect disappointment. In fact, expecting disappointment typically creates disappointment. So it's a good thing. It's a really good thing. And it makes me really happy for you guys, because I can tell that you've been struggling to, like, have trust and faith in yourself and in the universe for a while. And so I feel like you've tried to have faith, but then nothing really happens, and you kind of fall back, and you're like, well, why would I have faith if my faith never, makes anything happen for me? And it just seems like you've been trying to, and it's like back and forth, right? You're like, oh, I have a little bit more faith, and then you kind of fall back, and you're like, oh, this is, back to the beginning or whatever. But I just see, excuse me, your immediate future is like you're in this process of releasing your blocks that are gonna dissolve your fears in the future. So I like this reading for you guys. I'm really excited for you. I'm gonna hop on over to the extended. We're gonna dive in much deeper, get some more advice for you guys. Then I have an actual advice card to pull at the end. Any information for that is in the description box below. Thank you guys so much for watching this reading. It means the absolute world to me. Your support of my channel does. And I wish you guys the best in 2023, and I hope to see you in future readings. All right, bye, Cancer.